What is going on, everybody?
Hello.
It is Pixel Partners here, and welcome.
Look what it is.
To the long-awaited
It exists.
Phoenix
it's real.
Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies tier list. It may be almost like 2 years late at this point,
Yeah.
but at least it's happening.
It is.
This is the thing where you put the characters next to a letter. I almost said a number, but it's letters on the screen for how you think they are, from S being like the best to F being their failures of characters in general.
Also, like, I don't know if you haven't seen our tier list before, we grade based on how well written we think they are, not based on favorites.
Yes,
If they were based on favorites, this would be incredibly biased, like
Absolutely.
even more than it already is.
Because yeah, that's a great point to point out, because it's been a while since we've done it. If you're
I'd have
new
so
to
many
seeing these tier
characters in
lists,
S.
number one, you can check out the playlist and watch all the other ones we've done so far, and then you'll be able to see
From
more when they
forever ago.
each come out. Yes, but like it is about more or less how the character is done. It like, oh, they're a bad person, they go to F. No, like it's about grading the character themselves as they are written.
Yes.
And also
From a
because,
storytelling standpoint.
because we played this game quite a while ago.
Years.
Some of our memory may not be the clearest. I've
Was
at
it
least
years ago?
Yes, definitely,
Yeah.
at least a couple years. But
More
you
than
know,
a couple.
I do my best to refresh myself on the characters and everything, aside from everything that stood out from when we played it. But just small little bit of research to get myself reacquainted with
I think
everything.
I remember enough to accurately
exactly.
give my input.
But without further ado, let's proceed forward. And now, usually on the tier list, I remember that I typically don't repeat characters unless there is a significant reason to repeat them.
Yeah.
And here, like, when we went through the original trilogy, we only did Phoenix in the first one because it's pretty much the same person through all of them. But we brought him back in Apollo Justice because
he went
you
through
know,
some shit.
he went through some stuff. So
Yeah.
we're going to start over here with the man of the hour, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
He's back.
He's
Back in the game.
to his normal self, which in my
With
opinion
a
is
new outfit
it's
and a new hairstyle.
well, it's barely a new outfit.
It's a new
more
outfit.
colorful. And I think that might be because of the 3D modeling. And he has now some of his hair's fallen down instead of being so spiky in front of his face. But
and he has the locket from Trucy.
now I'll let you decide where he goes, but I won't lie, I was a little miffed that after everything that Phoenix went through in Apollo Justice, by the way, there'll always be spoilers for anything that
Yes.
happens in here potentially, for everything that he went through in Apollo Justice, which made him fucking hardcore of a human being, he pops back up in Dual Destinies and he acts like nothing ever changed. He's back to Ace Attorney 1 and 2 level Phoenix Wright.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he gets all goofy, he gets the droopy face with the sweat dripping down his sides.
Well, yeah, that's
Like,
Phoenix.
But it's the fact of like, and it's something that has always been weird about the later ones after like the main writer for Ace Attorney left, who made the original trilogy, that like they kind of sometimes don't care about things that happen in past games. Like, it's New World. I mean, that's my only fault with Phoenix. I think it would have been cooler to have him maintain at least some of his rough around the edges parts. But really, he is no different in this game than he was in, say, Trials and Tribulations. But he is the namesake of the series.
Yes.
Might as well put him in S.
He is father.
That he is. Now then, we move on to Athena Sykes. She was the new introduction in this game of Dual Destinies, brought in
Yeah.
maybe because they needed a new game mode, and so they were like, analytical psychology, you gotta make someone who can do that kind of stuff. I will say, and I'm pretty sure I've talked to you about this before, that there is something that has always miffed me about
Why do
the
you keep
way...
saying miffed? You've never said miffed in your life. And now all of a sudden
I'm
you're
pretty
using
sure I
it?
have.
No, not really.
But something I don't like about the way that they wrote Athena was mostly towards the end, in that they didn't give her the main character treatment that Phoenix and Apollo got. And by that, I mostly mean when it came to the end, like Phoenix and Apollo have both gone through very rough situations that put them in a corner, was tearing them down, and at some point, they had to be the ones to pick themselves up. Athena never got that privilege. When she hit the end of the road, they instead had her fall and, you know, lose her mind, and Phoenix had to come be the one to save Athena.
With those black psyche locks.
Yeah, instead of her getting the privilege of actually like helping herself in it, they kind of made her just be like, no, someone else has got to help you on that one.
This is the first time they introduced the black psyche locks too, though, because they're like, oh, you know, these are like, you know, repressed memories, and unlocking them could do damage to the person and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, they had a similar one when it was in Apollo Justice.
Did they?
With Clavier, or not Clavier, the other Gavin, the evil Kristoff, him. When we were in the meeting, when you were in his prison cell, when it was a flashback, and he had like the 5 or 6, and they were like black and gold, I think, something like that. But we're getting off topic. Yeah. Athena, I think she's a solid A. I'm a little upset, like I said, Athena, that they didn't let her have her shining moment for herself instead of having to make it be one of the boys come save her.
I'm excited to do Spirit of Justice because a lot happens.
Yes. Moving on to the boy Apollo Justice.
Apollo Justice.
A very edgy boy in this game.
Yeah, he has an arc.
Yeah, I mean, I would consider 4, 5, and 6 to honestly be like the Apollo Justice trilogy because those games had a lot of focus. I mean, the first game was literally just focused on him.
Yep.
The second one, his whole weird rebellious arc was the main point of it. And then obviously Spirit of Justice had its point as well. Gonna keep any spoilers for that away from that. I still say he's a solid A boy.
A for Apollo.
Trucy Wright.
S.
Trucy is always the best girl of all time. You cannot
right up there with her 5.
Trucy at all. Trucy is the best. She hasn't changed, but that's the great part. She's just fucking Trucy all the time, man.
Trucying it up.
Exactly. And that's all we can ask for from her. Moving on to the lineage of the Payne family with Gaspin Payne we had here.
Yeah.
He's a Payne. He's your typical starting prosecutor. I feel like he's not like a horribly written character or anything. There's not very many Fs that we have in these games because there's not anyone that's necessarily written bad.
Yeah, because when you think of Ace, like here, think about Dual Destinies characters. Gaspin Payne isn't exactly the first one that comes to mind.
No, I mean he's just there as the tutorial prosecutor for anyone that might be new to the game to be like, this is how it works. He's just there almost as a tutorial against you in a way.
Yeah.
Very basic, but they keep the whole Payne storyline going, which is fantastic, by the way, in its own regard. Moving on now to the perpetrator of the first case, Ted Tonate. I'd say just somewhere between C and D because he's on the same level. I was just thinking C's a bit of a stretch. Kind of, you know, he doesn't have.
Oh, I thought C might have been too low.
For Ted? He has nothing to him, really.
He had a really cool character design.
Yeah, but this isn't about character design. This is about, like, character.
I know.
Right, I mean, character design is also, all of them have, everyone has nice designs, because that's what Ace Attorney is great at, is character design and personalities. Ace Attorney is just fantastic about that kind of thing. But, you know, he's, once again, a kind of tutorial perpetrator in that there's not too much writing behind it. He was stealing bombs to sell them on the black market or something like that. Isn't that correct? And he got caught by the one lady and he was like, shit. And then he killed her.
He tried to blow everything up, basically.
Moving on to Simon Blackquill.
Simon!
Who was introduced at Case 2.
There's so much to say about this man.
I know you have a lot to say about him.
No, I don't mean just simp-wise.
No, I know,
I mean character-wise. He's
Yeah, from beginning to end, he has a lot of, he seems like a pretty basic, it's interesting, kind of a prisoner that's also a talented prosecutor. What the hell is this? And you have the evolution as the game goes on.
He used power suggestion, and psychologically manipulates you and all that.
Yeah, and then as it gets to the end where it's like, he actually didn't do anything. He kind of took the bullet for Athena, thinking that she had done something way back in the day.
He suffered in prison for literally no reason, and S for Simon.
Ace Attorney can't make bad prosecutors, man.
he went through so much.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him by the end. I was like, damn.
That's what they do for prosecutors for you.
It's like, so that's why he's an asshole. And you learn that he didn't always used to be one.
No?
Like, he was a good kid before he had to go through shit. And,
Now.
Damien Tenma.
Tenmataro.
Caw. Yeah, there it is.
God, I loved him.
He was really good. He's great dad.
Great dad. Fantastic, classic Ace Attorney character of those really strange quirks because of the whole pro wrestling gimmick that they had going on with that whole storyline.
Yeah.
A fantastic
He was
character.
the mayor,
you really
too, wasn't
can't
he?
Complain. Yes.
Yep.
Because it was all about that whole signing.
Nine-Tails Veil.
Nine-Tails Veil and the trying to combine the companies and stuff when we get to Mr. DePlume and all that. Not DePlume. That's way down there. LaBelle. There we go. Florence LaBelle. But he's not yet. Next we have
Jinxie.
Pretty much right up there alongside him.
Her papa.
Just as quirky, just as strange and unique.
With her like obsession with yokai
and
all that.
right there below Apollo, cowering, ready to throw some of those stickers on his face to keep the demons away.
The talismans.
Just fantastic, quirky characters as always. Moving on to
because he was a demon because of his horns.
Moving on to Phineas Filch.
Filch, oh god.
I'll put him at a solid C. Obviously above like
Middle
the
of the
tutorial
road.
people. Not quite up there with everyone else that was involved in this case.
Nah.
But quirky character.
He was interesting.
Fun to voice. He was interesting. Had his uses in the case.
Kept
I say
stealing
C is right
shoes.
there about in the middle. Yeah, that was a thing of his. But moving on to LaBelle.
This guy.
I think that all of these characters right in there belong kind of in the B range.
He was a good villain.
Yeah, he was a very good villain for Case 2. I loved his whole character and aesthetic and personality and all that.
With the cell phone
he was extremely
shoulder
fun
pads.
to do. He was great. And then he also had that strange reasoning for everything he did what he did. His whole fucking making perfume but not wanting to sell it, so he drove himself into fucking debt.
Yeah, and
So
then there's
the
the hair color things.
Not your typical motive for murder, but
no,
that's what happened. So moving away from Case 2 into Case 3, obviously Juniper was obviously involved in Case 1 kind of a little bit, but she came in Case 3 with the student trio.
Yes, she did. The friends.
Again, I'd say solid.
I was gonna say, don't you dare put her in C.
No. I'd say still a solid B character. I wouldn't say she was anywhere towards the levels of, Apollo or Athena or anyone else
Longtime
up
friends
there.
with Athena.
Which can be rough when it comes to some of them to try and get them up to A because of when you have main characters like that, of course they're going to be extremely well written, but there'll be some more coming in there eventually. But I felt like Juniper, fantastic being there. Obviously was the accused in that case with everything going on because of the mock trial script and all of that, but still fantastic character.
Also, he's not here, but Taka also goes in S with Simon.
Of course, that's to be said. I couldn't get a profile picture of Taka, so I couldn't do if I wanted to.
You'd have to make one.
But Hugh O'Connor,
Yep.
I'd say he was, in all honesty, kind of like the least relevant. He was like the stereotypical rich hot boy that was hot-headed. I am a genius. No one's better than me. But everyone was better than him, to be quite honest. I'd say solid C. He didn't have as much character development as the others in the trio of students.
He was interesting to voice.
Yeah. And then we have
Robin.
I put Robin in B. Now, obviously,
Robin Newman.
I loved Robin, but I can see where I would assume there are probably some people that find the writing for Robin to be a bit problematic with the way they handled it. I'd say it's similar to another character that I was thinking of from another game, but I don't want to spoil that for anyone that hasn't played that game yet. But kind of that whole doing the gender because of a reason that's not of your own necessarily volition, but feeling like there's other reasons you have to,
like
essentially being
reasons,
forced to change your
internal
appearance
reasons.
because of parents.
Yeah.
Like, it's a bit of rough writing, but to be fair, it's a lot, especially in
because I remember
this
she
game was made,
said
and in
that
Japan
she
it was a much different
I remember
time.
she said she was raised as a boy.
Yeah,
Like
she was
wasn't
raised
her
by
choice.
her parents as a
Yeah.
boy, and it could be seen as problematic, but still, personality-wise, I felt like otherwise Robin was a fantastic character.
I love her. I love her.
Really can't complain.
The way she would spell out things with the finger point wagging thing.
It was perfect. Now, Clavier. We need to grade him in a vacuum. I want to get this straight. Because he only showed up in really this case as like his little cameo of like, hey, what's up?
I did enjoy his time that he was on the screen though.
No, he created some very funny moments. So I'd at least say, obviously,
like with especially with the skit reading, that whole thing.
His character as a whole, when you consider him from Apollo Justice, I'm pretty sure we rated him higher.
The mock trials.
Yeah, around A or S somewhere. But in this game, he just kind of popped up for a fun cameo. Didn't really have any kind of character development necessarily. He popped in for fun, so that's why he's at B here. He deserves
character development though. So many people, including myself, want Clavier to have closure with his brother and all that, because he never got any.
No,
he never. They never touched his backstory or anything.
Maybe one day there'll be an Ace Attorney 7 where they go over that. But even when at this point I'm pretty confident it'll be a win, because I mean the leaks that revealed the kind of American release and worldwide release of the Great Ace Attorney, that was confirmed, and Ace Attorney 7 was later on the list, but that probably got delayed because of COVID, just like the Great Ace Attorney was.
Yeah,
I'm sure there'll be an Ace Attorney 7. Whether I'm confident they're going to do anything with Clavier, probably not, because everyone's like, we need more for Clavier, we need Athena to get her shining moments now that Apollo's gone. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if half of that game becomes Apollo running his own thing in Khura'in still.
Yeah.
But anyways, Clavier sits there because just for the sake of him having a cameo, that's all it was really. But it was fun. Miriam Scuttlebutt, another solid B. As much as part wants to put her in A just because she was fucking hysterical. She's a fantastic, once again, amazing personality. So fun to fucking voice.
You had a blast.
And also a character that had genuine involvement in the plot to an extent.
I like how the box fits the
It's perfect. It was a perfect profile picture that I loved when I saw it.
Because we see her, but not most of the time.
Professor Aristotle Means.
This fucker.
I rate him as a solid A.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic villain. kind of the combo of like the good guy turned bad guy, and the way they handled the switch and everything. That was perfect. His confidence made you so fucking angry at everything he did.
He was never a good guy. He was always just a creepy dude.
Veiled, but he presented himself as good. Like at the beginning, you'd have no idea. He was presented as being the decent, the unjustified means. But the evolution in the trial they took with his sudden
just how
flip
scary he became,
and the cockiness he had, like that's perfect against the player where you're just like, you little son of a bitch, how dare you? Which is great.
You wanted to break him like the statue he looks like.
Exactly. Which is fantastic villain stuff.
Yep.
On
Solomon
to
Starbuck.
The case 4-5 combo, really. Everything kind of comes into one
He was fun to voice. Just
yeah. Once again, I mean, I know it probably says a lot. Solid B character, interesting, quirky, had character development.
Starbuck.
Important star plot.
Star plot.
You threw me off on that one. Fuck. Just a solid character, all in all. Evolution, our defendant, trying to defend him.
He got some good closure too.
There, he did. Moving on to Yuri Cosmos.
Yep.
I'd say C territory.
That seems about right.
Him.
Yeah.
Like he ran the whole space center and all that. He did circles in his fucking moped all day long.
Not moped,
Segway.
There you go.
There we go. But I wouldn't say that he had a lot of character growth or development or anything necessarily. He was just kind of there. Exactly. He was a typical witness that didn't have necessarily
he was also there as
whole lot,
a plot.
not that I can remember.
He was there as a plot point for like the later trial too with Athena and all that.
And I believe at some point we kind of have him as, I mean, I'm trying to remember from way back then, but I think he was kind of used as a potential like point to look at of like, could he potentially be doing something involving in this? It might have been for a short period of time, but I think he was also kind of in there as a way of being like, you could be the one that did something.
Yep, pretty much. Or a Blackquill.
Or a Blackquill.
The older sister of Simon Blackquill. Who likes bullying robots.
I mean, I may be a little bit biased, but I loved Aura.
Okay, as long as you didn't put her in S.
No. I felt like A is perfect. Hey, for Aura. A is,
oh my God.
A is perfect for her.
Dude, I realized.
I love her design and everything, but she had her own.
I just realized something.
Yes?
Athena, Apollo, Aristotle,
I thought
and
the same
Aura
thing. I was
are
like,
all in A.
Let me not. I was like, let me not say that. That was not on purpose. Apparently, Ace Attorney writes characters with A very well.
Yeah.
What can I say? Except you're welcome.
No.
But, you know, obviously she had heavy involvement in everything. She had her own character growths and her own motives for getting involved in everything that was going on. Yeah, that whole fucking situation was like crazy. Wasn't what we expected. And it's like, oh shit. But
she did not
fantastic.
like Athena.
Moving into the
I thought she
final
was
case 5.
kind of a jerk though. Like she wasn't. She's not a good person.
No, she had her moments, but she had the drive for her moments. Because
she had her reasons, I guess, like her own.
If I'm correct, if I remember it correctly, I could be wrong, but I believe that she was so heavy-handed against Athena because she was trying to defend Simon, who went to prison for nothing. She was like, I lost my brother because of Athena, and I'm gonna get her back. That was the whole point of Case 5, was retrying essentially everything that happened with that original accident in there. And that was her motive and why she went so kind of crazy and angry, is because she was angry about Athena for pretty much, like, she blamed Athena for Simon going to prison.
Even though Athena had nothing to do with that.
No, but that was the secret that we had to learn.
Yeah.
But moving on to the cameos.
But I mean, Athena didn't have anything to do with Simon's decision personally. Like, that was his own choice.
But Aura had no idea.
She wanted someone to blame.
Like, that's why you can technically justify her anger, because that was unknown knowledge. She was just like, Athena did this to you and I hate her for it. Anyways, moving on to the cameos. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth.
Yep.
I'd say solid A. Because,
really?
Well, he had heavy involvement because he became the end prosecutor.
Yeah, and it was like, it was, what's the word? My brain was just like, fantastic, but
well, I mean, if Simon goes
You're putting him in B?
Where would you put him?
A.
Oh, that's where I was going, and you made it sound like that wasn't where he was fitting.
No, I was saying higher.
No, he doesn't deserve to be above everyone. He had a cameo. It was for one case. He was being his typical Edgeworth self. But I wouldn't say, like you said, we're doing this in a vacuum of the way that everything was in this game.
Yeah, I know.
Which is why with Pearls, like, she was fantastic, but the thing that brings her to B is the fact of her involvement in the DLC case, giving her more life. That kind of puts her, like, in between.
She was around before that.
Yeah, well, she only popped up really in the final case. Like, that's literally when she showed up, and she was mostly in the background, kind of helped us understand those black locks that Athena had.
Yep.
But
she's like, hey, if you mess with those, stuff can happen.
Other than that, didn't really have much involvement. Kind of had to take place of, like, I'm pretty sure she took place as our sidekick, because Athena and Trucy were both kidnapped, technically.
Yeah.
So we had no one else because Maya was gone. So I'd say she goes in solid B. Because even in the final case, she was being typical Pearls, getting involved by accidents in cases, just like how she knocked over the vase in Trials and Tribulations, knocked over the fish bucket and all that, and the other game and all that. Ponko and
she's
Klonko.
a chaotic force. Yes, Ponko and Klonko.
They're fantastic, but I put them in C alongside Yuri because, like, they were great personalities, but like the only thing that served up
me.
for
they're a little bit higher.
I think it's because their picture's a little off, but because they're a tiny bit lower now. But just because I couldn't size it right. But you know, one of them, I picked the one. I think this one's Klonko, right?
What? No, that's Ponko.
Ponko, because this is the one that
Ponko's the girl, Klonko's the boy.
Yeah, but this is the one that witnessed the murder, I believe. And that's why I was like, that's why I picked that one as the important one.
Yeah.
Because that one had the most impact on the case. But still,
it was interesting to have
not a whole lot of
robot
involvement
as a
beyond
witness.
That. Yes, it was. And then
this bitch.
Detective Fulbright.
Bobby Fulbright.
Bobby Fulbright. Fulbright, if you will.
Yeah.
At least, so I wouldn't quite say.
Now, who are we? Like, are we going the Detective Bobby Fulbright, or are we going?
Well, you have to consider it both because Detective Fulbright was dead before we ever met him.
Yeah.
It was always the Phantom as Bobby Fulbright. Mm-hmm. I do honestly think that he belongs in S tier.
Keep him away from Simon, though.
I'll keep them separated for now, even though he was the one always holding the reins on Simon.
Yeah, so I said keep him the fuck away from Simon.
But I thought like he was an interesting character in his goofiness that was all throughout the cases, and the fact of like
Injustice We Trust.
Kind of like how, you know, even though I miss Gumshoe, it's been a long time since we've seen him. You know, we have like there's always ways we have to get our information from the detective, but they're not supposed to give it to us. And Gumshoe's just like, you're nice, here you go, pal. But for him, it was like, I can't tell you, but justice.
Yeah.
And it was that thing of like, we're for justice. He's like, really? Here you go. Yeah. And then obviously the twist at the end of him becoming the Phantom and really fighting against it. I thought
the whole like, you know, not feeling emotions and all that.
Yeah, I thought well-written character, perfect plot twist inside there. I think he deserves to be an S for what they attempted to do with him, and I'd say they pulled it off well.
As a character, yes. As like a person, I hate him.
That's the point, and that's the point. That's the thing with Aristotle Means being in A is that like they make you hate him, but that's exactly why he was written well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you just be like, he's boring. But hating him because of the way he acted, that's good shit.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, moving on to the DLC case characters.
Yes.
Number one,
Herman Crab.
We have Herman Crab. God, I loved Herman Crab.
He was great.
Even though he didn't show up until later, he was fantastic.
Yes.
And all of his, once again, I say enough, his little goofy quirkiness. And then
with the penguins.
I can't remember the name of the one that lives in his hair.
You can't?
No.
Sniper.
That's right.
And the mom's name is Rifle.
Yes.
Sniper
I remembered
and
Rifle. But felt like perfect one. Marlon.
Marlon Rhymes. He had an interesting little thing that happens on the witness stand.
It's one of those where like on my personal bias, I wasn't too big on him, but I know I should put that aside and put him at least in B, where
he
deserves
well
B
written
for his writing, and the fact of being kind of like a perpetrator that technically wasn't a perpetrator at all.
No, he wasn't his own mind.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to kill Aura. Yeah. Orla. That whole thing. We say them both because technically there's the twist at the end of the DLC case, which made it both. But, you know, he wanted to do that, but he never did. He was trying to take the fall for Jack Shipley, the leader, but he actually tried to save Jack, but he used that as a way to try and get the Orca after his attempted murder failed. I was like, that's my next plot, but he didn't get away with that. So I thought that was another interesting thing to try and.
That whole case
use
was
in the game.
really like kind of tragic, honestly.
Yeah. We have Norma de Plume.
Yep.
I'm gonna put her in C.
Yeah, she
is a heck of a character. She was a bit of a foil.
I didn't like her. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I also personally didn't like her, and I would say that she didn't quite get enough growth to be in there with people along B. She was just your typical, hi, I'm a witness. Hey, how you doing? Which is kind of the common thing I've noticed for C, is that's the people that are there just to be a witness.
Yeah.
And didn't have much else going for them. But exactly where she was. Orla. The orcas.
Yes.
Okay.
S.
I'll settle for B.
Okay, good.
Because I was like, it's just an orca. She didn't do much once again. She was just kind of the
orca.
She was the defendant and orca, which is awesome. We also cross-examined an orca.
Yeah.
There's something about Phoenix Wright
and cross-examining animals.
It just fits. It just works.
It does.
It just works.
And then your waifu, Sasha Buckler.
Sasha Buckler. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. She's dancing right up here in S tier.
She's A.
I'll go for in between.
She's A.
I'll have her poking her little pirate hat in S because she is great. She's fantastic, and I don't care what anyone says. Yes. She's yes.
You're putting her above fucking Judy and Robin and Clavier and all of those?
Yes.
Same level as Apollo and Athena?
Yeah. Do not question my methods.
Stay there.
I will settle for that.
She is not S.
Fine.
She is not on their level. Phoenix, Trucy, Simon, no.
But she's
a DLC character.
But she was fantastic for a DLC character. Far better than any of her other compatriots.
No, she's not S. She is an A.
But the retractable toy sword, she would bring.
That's character design. That's bias. If I can't be biased, you can't be biased.
Thank you, everybody.
I would put Robin in
in
A if I was able to, but no.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to the Dual Destinies tier list. Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'm sure there'll probably be some disagreements in there, but like I said, think of it always in a vacuum. Tell us your thoughts on various characters where you think they deserve to belong or don't belong. But hopefully you enjoyed it and this little flashback to this game. And we will be back soon with the Spirit of Justice tier list. Hopefully it won't take another 2 years to do. Hopefully it should be a lot shorter than that. Coming up here soon.
Because Spirit of Justice is my favorite of the main Phoenix Wright ones.
Definitely agree. But we'll be going over that next time.
Yay! Have a good day and night, afternoon, evening, wherever it is.
Goodbye.
Bye.